Okay. Doing the thing, we've got... Okay, cool. They corrected that mistake, so that's good. Got the Thunder Kremlin, Naizenau Isuzuchi over on the clown side. So that's going to be 10, 10, 7, and 4. That's going to be the 34 tier. They were missing a tier in the last one. Not to say that that's really, you know, the win-loss condition per se, but it's good to, you know, get every little bit you can get. Then over on the other side, over with Beefcakes, we got the John Bart, Pommern, Musashi, Gangnut. Keeping it the same, keeping it real. Only real change is the Naizenau. And Naizenau has excellent AA, which isn't going to matter here. But it also has Torps. Not to be underestimated. Depends on how the situation goes, but if you get into knife fighting range, Pommern's got Torps, Naizenau's got Torps. That could be some. That could be a real game changer, depending on how that goes. We've got John Bart, Musashi. Musashi's looking to anchor up at A. Kremlin looking to take it. Thunder heading in the direction, although looking like he's going to be hanging back, letting the Kremlin do the frontline stuff. Although, is the Kremlin slowing down? No, I think he just bled some speed when he angled a little. So Thunder, Kremlin, Naizenau, Isuzuchi. Oh, that's a little surprising. So tier 10, tier 10, and then the lower tiers committing to an off cap? That could be a critical misplay. If both of the lower tiers commit to the same thing, I mean, they're already at a health disadvantage, a gun disadvantage, a heal disadvantage. They might just be giving up two ships for free, depending on how they do that. Although it does look like the Naizenau might be looking for that center channel YOLO play. John Bart maybe looking at it, maybe thinking about it. Probably going to post up on the side. And we got the Pommern and the Gangnut going wide. A little bit of a surprise there. Pommern is, based off, if I understand correctly, the Frederick de Grossa, which is the Frederick the Great. And as I mentioned a few times today, it has better firing angles when it's in a reversed thing, when it's bow out. Can shrug off a lot more damage while still getting your guns to bear. Which does mean that the FDG and the Pommern are both kind of weak when they are pushing. And yet, the Pommern has Torps, which gives it even more incentive to push. Kind of counterproductive, a little strange that way. Naizenau has strategically beached. So, not going to be able to do much there. It might be looking to catch somebody as they come around the corner, per se. Trying to bank on somebody making that move with the Isuzuchi going wide to try to spot. Pommern going wider. The Gangnut running it down mid, looking to get to D. And we've got the Kremlin in the A cap, who did just get reset by the Musashi, chiseling very little health, but still some health. And the Thunder going wide to be able to add in. Cloud's taking shots. Musashi potentially eating some of the first damage that it's going to have. Takes a bit of a bite out of him. Thunder has got some shells too. This is going to be a tier 9 versus 2 tier 10s with no support. John Bart is trying to hurry over to help, while the Musashi is able to keep A cap reset, and the Isuzuchi finds the Pommern, or rather the Pommern finds the Isuzuchi. Shots out of the Gangnut, probably the only thing he's really got a back and forth kind of chance to, but none of those shells really seem to hit. Nope, they did light a fire that burns for a little bit. Shells out to the Isuzuchi, nip him for about 6. Solid strike from the Gangnut. Tier 4 represent. And the Pommern secondaries are going to keep ripping into him. That pen's just going to be pretty serious, although right now the Isuzuchi healing through it as the Pommern reloads his guns. Over on the A cap. Kremlin down to half now, as not only the Musashi, but the Jean Bart popping some shells over the side and into the side of the Kremlin. Kremlin's got a good nose, but it's got a really weak side. And the John Bart is taking advantage of that with a reload booster. Shells arcing over the island. Thumpity thump. Those weren't as big as the other ones, but they're still no joke. Kremlin reversing, trying to get himself some kind of cover as he's still staring a Musashi in the face with big shells that land a little bit high, jumping over the guns, bearing in the superstructure, but not in the citadel. And Thunder taking a pot shot at the John Bart, who no longer has the side of the Kremlin. John Bart chucks some shells at the Thunder. Not much damage is traded. Musashi v Kremlin. Kremlin's not in a good position. And the Gneisenau looking for the surprise MF play. A little too far from the John Bart. I think it's about 6 kilometer torp. So he might not have a torp threat per se. But he's definitely going to have some surprise value as he rounds the island. Isuzushi long since sinking. Pommern and Gangnut moving forward to the B-cap. As the Gneisenau lands some shells into the John Bart. Not a joke, secondary's coming out, and the Gneisenau is going to start pushing the Bart. As the Gneisenau has torp pressure, the John Bart does not. Kremlin continues to reverse. Nope, stopping actually, as the Bart begins to move forward and will soon have angles on him. Bart might be wanting to shoot at the Gneisenau that chases him. No, those guns are forward. He's got his eyes on the prize. Shells coming out pretty soon. Those shells are the dinky ones. The big shells are the ones that get it done. Fire on the front of the ship. But there's the big shells. Shells come out. That is the end of the Kremlin. And in a surprise play, the Pommern and the Gangnut cutting back toward Charlie. Rather than going for the pinch play on the Thunderer, letting the John Bart deal with the Gneisenau with the assistance of the Musashi, they're looking to take the long way around as opposed to just going bow in, be able to cap Bravo and put some additional pressure on the Thunderer. John Bart running out of cover as the Gneisenau in hot pursuit. Thunderer steadily bashing the Musashi. Musashi shells are so big, they can rip through the nose of a battleship. Thunder HE shells, so nasty, they can rip through a battleship damn near everywhere. So, it's a battle of the I don't care about your armor boats. And just able to crest the island. Nix for 4K, not a big hit. But it does send the Musashi scurrying for cover as the John Bart tries to move up, making influential play. Pommern and Gangnut still very out of position as the Musashi straight up clocks the Gneisenau, who chucks some torps from about 5 kilometers distance. Those are going to go out to 6. Means about here. I don't think they're going to make it. It's a Hail Mary shot. And the John Bart has no interest in staying around for that party. Musashi shells in the air. Clip the Thunder. There's the big boy shells coming in. They clip the Thunder a little harder. John Bart trying to give the Thunder a bit of a haircut. Maybe a little shave. Thunder pushing forward directly into the shot of the Musashi. That's going to be a thump, but that thump is not big enough. He's going to go for another shot. Again, just not really landing, only doing chisel damage as the Musashi takes a big hit in return. Does the Thunder have a heal? It's ticking up about 1,000 health a second. Click, click, click. It's probably going to go for about 20 seconds, so maybe he's going to get back about 20,000 depending. But he's about to coast outside the comforting safety of that rock into some pretty ass-kicking kind of shells. And down goes Fraser. Team Bravo Beefcakes taken number 2. GG's.